You're now listening to the legendary
Vinyl Esquire.
Vinyl
Vinyl
Esquire.
Esquire.
Now when it comes to the money, man, it feel like shit.
Poor
Man, it feel like
DJs.
shit. I'm always talking to the money like that's my girl. Ooh, that's my chick. You're so beautiful, and I can't get over it.
Vinyl Esquire.
Hello world, I want to welcome you to Vinyl Esquire, the podcast that delivers culture, truth, music. Would you join me, please, in welcoming DJ Rip?
Hello world, I want to welcome you to Vinyl Esquire, and my name is DJ Rip, and Vinyl Esquire is the DJ podcast that uplifts the DJ culture and honors our legends. And without further ado, I would like to welcome to Vinyl Esquire, the CEO and founder of the biggest, most successful, and most impactful DJ organization in the music business. I would like to welcome to Vinyl Esquire, the one and only DJ Tony Neal.
What's up? What's up? What's up, Rip?
Tony, how you doing, man?
Chilling, man. Chilling.
Everything good?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I want to thank you for allowing me to interview you on Vinyl Esquire. Again, this is the DJ podcast that uplifts the DJ culture, honors our legends, and always brings culture, truth, and music. So, without further ado, I would like to go ahead and get started. I want to take it all the way back to the beginning for Tony Neal. Tell me who or what made you want to be a DJ?
You know what, man? I kind of fell into it. It was something I was doing myself, just playing around when I was young, but then I started watching a lot of my family members involved in the music game of DJing. Jerry, Smoking B, my uncle, Jim Frazier, like a lot of older cats in Milwaukee, you know what I'm saying? Dr. Bop, all these cats I would just listen to and mimic them, when I was younger, but I never really got into it until I got to the skating rink, till I was like 13, 14 years old.
Okay. So what year would you say that this is?
Oh, yeah, definitely 83. Let me see. When I started, no. The skating rink was open. So I was 16, 17. Yeah, I was about 14 for 83.
So would you say that that's when you first got a pair of turntables, or what?
No,
That's
when I was actually sneaking in the DJ booth, messing with the at that time the new high tech technique 1200s that they put in solid state in the DJ booth at the skating rink. We was like the only DJ booth in the country that had 1200s, and that's when they used to put them. They used to put them down in a little hole in the DJ booth. Remember that? And put the because they didn't know how solid they were, and put them down in so they wouldn't on a little bouncing thing. And remember they used to build that thing, a little bouncing thing, but they put the 12s in there.
Right.
And the 12s really didn't need all of that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Unless it was around something that was humming. Like if you but the skating rink floor was made out of concrete, so I don't know. I think they just wanted to make it so it wouldn't make noise and stuff. So I would go up there and mess around with them, because when I was younger I would read the albums. I would start buying albums. I was buying albums for nothing, just to read on the inside who produced it. And, I was more fantasized with the people that did the work.
Wow. Okay.
And the shout outs that was on the cover, on the inside, that little paper sleeve. That's really what I was buying it for. You know what I'm saying?
So would you say, when would you say that you actually started DJing? What year would you say?
Oh, man, I want to say for real, DJing, probably 92, 91, 92.
All right, so let's talk about the early years. So you said that you started going into the skating rink about 83, 84, right? So This is when you kind of got the bug. Okay. So talk to me about the early years in Milwaukee for you. Who were some of your early influences locally and nationally that made you want to end up, becoming a real DJ
Oh, man, I can give you some instances. Cut Creator, hearing LL say that, like the whole hip hop, Eric D, watching these things, Grandmaster Flash, of course.
Right.
Oh, for definitely later on, but not too much later, Mixmaster Ice. Because we was all wearing karate suits and all that kind of shit just for no reason.
Right.
Random karate suits, nigga. We watching all the Bruce Lee movies that reemerged 10 years later after they came out in everybody was wearing the karate shoes and then so when I saw Mixmaster Ice do it, that was the first thing I saw. But then when I saw him scratching on the Roxanne records and all that, I was like, oh yeah, a lot of those things I watched, but I hadn't still grasped onto it like I should. Even with Homer, like my boy Homer Blow in Milwaukee, like he would influence me to talk because I didn't used to talk. I didn't used to say anything when I DJ'd. I didn't have an MC or nothing, but I wouldn't talk either. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I thought I had to make some voice, like the radio. Oh yeah, and all that shit.
Yeah.
But he's like, nah, just be you. You got a good voice already. Just be you.
Right.
And so in those terms, Homer, as from an MC standpoint, it was Homer. But as far as radio goes, man, I would have to say Jerry. Jerry Smoking B. Because when I had saw Jerry do a pause button mix, a Prince mix that was real popular in the city before he moved to Houston and then to Atlanta.
Okay.
And Steve Haywood, Steve Haywood was another radio influence, both being from Milwaukee, now Steve on streets in Atlanta, different things like that. But nevertheless, we always had a lot of people from the city that would move. And I didn't even know at the time, that Steve was from the city. I didn't pay too much attention when I was younger because at that time, too, I was dabbling around in the streets when I was young. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So from a skating rink to the streets, because, I didn't, it went in that order, So I didn't really pay attention to what was really going on around me. And I was real rebellious to anybody that I felt like didn't put me in position like I should have been because I'm their cousin. Or I get that now. So I remember how I used to be with that whole thing. If they see I'm a good DJ, they don't put me in position and fuck you. You know what I'm saying? I was just like that.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You see it, and that was that was that bullshit. But I was young. That's how I was, and so I never moved to Atlanta and never did the typical. But the industry influence side, I don't know if I'm moving too fast. Oh, and Darren D. Darren D was another person on the club side that had me carrying his records. He passed away last year, but had me carrying his crates and his music and all the grunt work that a DJ opened up for him and stuff. And if I would have never did that, I would have never been in Miami because that's how I met Luke.
Got you. So I don't think you're moving too fast, but what I'm really trying to do here is, a lot of people in the industry know Tony Neal as breaking records and representing the core DJs and creating that. And we're going to get to that. But I just want to talk to, just a little bit about the early years in Milwaukee.
Well, Rip, I came from my shit was way dysfunctional, man. Like my pops, my mother had me, she was 14.
Okay.
And my pops was 17, so I didn't really have the mother-father aspect. I had the grandmother, but she wanted me to go to church all the time. So I wasn't really on that either. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So everything I did from the point that I could understand doing it, I did it myself. I was kind of trial and error. Shit, my life was trial and error. Kids and everything, like I didn't know how to be a father like that because trial and error. Everything that I was doing was up, even with the core, the early years of the core, trial and error. It was me learning. Right. Myself, because I really didn't have any teachers, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And most of the time the ones that taught me, I would pass them and then I would have a problem with them later. And because of how I was in the street, it would be always a conflict because if I felt like I was being slighted by somebody, I would react. I would jump out the window. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Rip, you know me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If I felt and that carried on into the industry, man. I mean, I'm gonna tell you something later on in the interview that's going to blow you away, but it might not blow you away, but it probably will with the rest of the shit I'm going to say. But nevertheless, so growing up and with the drugs and all the shooting and the fighting and all around me and shit like that when I was coming up, you know what I'm saying, in Milwaukee, the part was always an escape for me, like to go practice DJing. I even, my Uncle Rick was another influence because he would let me DJ at my grandfather's bar in Milwaukee. Okay. And, when I was young, but I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. But I did know that he had an extra pair of turntables up in the attic, and I stole them.
So was that your first pair of turntables?
Yeah. That was it. It was the 18s, Rick. It wasn't the 12. It was
right. How old were you? How old were you at that time?
Oh shit, I was 19. Yeah.
Okay, go on.
After I came out of boot camp, I was 19.
Okay. No, wait, you 19, said boot, 18, so 19. You boot camp. So you went to the military.
Yeah, I was in the army. Yeah, I was in the army. Yeah.
Got to
So I
know
went to the
that.
Army.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in the Army. Yeah, and I got out of boot camp in Oklahoma. I was in Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and I got out of the Army. And even there, I just felt like I had signs of what's going on now, because with the squad leader, and I was the leader, squad leader in our platoon.
Mm-hmm.
And once I saw the way that the drill sergeant was making us move, like jump up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, I started taking charge of the squad. We would be outside standing in the rain, waiting in salute at 3:30 in the morning before he even got up.
Wow. Okay.
So
Gotcha.
I would manipulate the system. Like I was always that kind of person. Okay, he want us up at 4:30. We're gonna get up at 3:30. We'll be outside, shoes shine, standing outside in the dark, waiting for him to get there.
Wow. Okay.
Like it was that kind of. I always had that leadership thing, Rip. Like I was always okay, we're gonna do it this way. He want us to do it that way. We're gonna do it this way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Oh, the industry want me to do it this way. Nah, I'm gonna do it this way. But at the same time, I always had the respect for the people that did it before me or had the idea before me. You understand? Like,
right.
you know, you don't find too many people that do that with us when with the core Rip. We did this first, and then come back in. I did that with Renee and different people that before me that did something that I had got an olive branch from. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay, and, all right, so hold on. I don't want to go too far. Okay, so
okay. All
right, so we're in the 80s, going into the 90s. We're in Milwaukee, and hear me out. The point is that the country or the world knows you for the core. What is the Tony Neal before all of that led up to it? And here's why. Because most people that come from where we come from, I come from Omaha, Nebraska, in the middle of the country. You come from Milwaukee. So this is the Midwest. Most of the people that come from where we come from are either musicians or athletes. Right. So when you take a national spot as a DJ and you come from an area where you're at, there's this story that happens before all the fame that no one ever finds out. Right.
Hell of a story.
Right.
Like in like in the 80s, like when my mother was struggling with drugs, a lot. I dealt with that part, that aspect. So the things and the way people feel about their fathers and fathers not being around and all that. I felt like that about my mother.
Gotcha.
So for me, and it was deep, so for me, I don't know if you ever seen the James Brown movie.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, it was just like that. Like, nigga, I'm Tony now. I'm, shit, what you want? It was like that for real. Like, it was literally like that from me coming home from boot camp to my grandmother not wanting me to be in the house because I wasn't going to church. She didn't know what I was doing. And if it wasn't church, it was to her like if you went to church, you was good with everything else as long as you got your ass up and went to church on Sunday. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'd already stopped going to the Wednesday service and all that bullshit. Then when I saw a couple of things with the preachers and, and the congregation and, me as being observant as I am, and I'm always watching, and seeing how people move and seeing some of these preachers. I stopped going to church altogether, So once that happened, I got out of boot camp. I thought I was going to have somewhere to stay, and she put me out. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
She put me out, so I got that part. I went to stay with my mother for a minute, and then she put me out because I wouldn't give her money that I was actually stealing from a gas station to pay the rent at the house because the guy that she had staying was giving her everything, and she was, doing it all on drugs.
Right.
Like for real. Like, so, my story of coming up was a lot of by myself time. A lot about myself time, a lot of maneuvers of day by day, trying to figure it out kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? With me, I was always blessed though, man. It was just always a halo. I never drunk. I never did drugs. Not drunk, drank anything. I never did drugs. And I ain't never smoked weed, none of that. I got my family. My father's side of the family is Jamaican, and I never did none of that. I never did. I had no interest. My interest was figuring it out.
So would you say would you say that the music was the outlet when you took them two turntables, right?
Hell yeah, Rick. Hell yeah.
Wow.
All day. All day. I would surround myself with records. You remember that one video with a dude broke in my house, that shit back in 97?
Right.
What you saw on the floor in my house, you just saw records,
Right.
One thing for me, with a relationship or anything, I would always keep my records because I would feel like they never left me. You know what I'm saying? Like, anything in my life that I had around me, my son passing, getting killed in 2001 and, shit like that.
Yes.
Hey, Rip, anything, and I never lost my records. You know what I'm saying? You know, so that, even we don't use them, but I could look at them and they there. A relationship, divorce, boom, all that. But shit, my music is there.
Right. And that, you know, that's deep, because I still have all my records from back in the 80s till now too.
I'm trying to tell you, man. And that's the way it was more of a sentimental value for me. I got rid of a whole bunch of that dumbass record pool shit, of course. But for the most part, I got the records that when I started, I got my first record. The first record that I saved with my allowance was 45s. First record I bought with my, believe it or not, was Jerry Knight, Overnight Sensation.
Yeah.
Jerry Knight from Radio.
Right, absolutely, from the group Radio.
Yeah,
yes.
And he was the lead singer of Radio, and then he made Overnight Sensation when he left. Well, he didn't leave Radio right away. And I'm trying to tell you, I would do the examination. The next record that I bought was, and I'm buying 45s now. I'm not hip on the albums, but I knew what I could afford. 99 cent, 89 cent. So I was getting my allowance. I bought So Fine by Howard Johnson.
These are all classics, yes.
I'm trying. Listen, bro, I bought Overnight Sensation by GQ. So I didn't buy Rock Freak, you know. And mind you, I'm still getting my allowance. Got my little job. I started hustling, like I would find this dumpster, and I would stay behind Mesmer High School, and I would find in this dumpster these old magazines, and they would throw them out, and I would clean them up, go in there and run around the block and sell them. A big stack of them for $1, $2, $5, and I would go to the record store.
Right.
So once I figured I had enough money now to start buying albums, first album I bought was that. I was late, but it was the first album I bought was that with More Bounce Down, that album. So then I went back and bought the albums to the records that I bought. Then I saw Rock Freak. Then I saw records from Howard. Then I started going into the album cuts that never made it out.
Got you. So did you?
You know what I'm saying?
Right. So you wanted to be a DJ based off of what you saw, right? So
right.
Yeah. As soon as you seen that in the skating rink and on the radio, and then of course nationally, you said, I'm going to be a DJ. You went and got the equipment from you said your uncle's house in the attic.
But I hadn't got the equipment yet. I had the records, but I was still, at the time when I was so young, man, I was still recording shit with the radios, with the tape deck sitting next to the radio kind of shit.
Right.
You know, but I knew that I felt like they was going to come in handy one day. And so once I think I had an old turntable or something, and I was in a house playing radio, acting like I had radio, talking to my goddamn self. I was by myself and shit. I would entertain myself, you know, shit like that. And then I didn't mention that part, but yeah, like when I was young, but it wasn't, it was still embedded, like before I started sneaking in the DJ booth at the Palace, at the skating rink, you know, so it was still something that I had an ear for music, you know what I'm saying? I played the piano and shit. And so I had an ear for music already, you know.
Right,
you know?
right.
And anything, you know, I think it's misguided talent, because my grandmother because I played the piano, she wanted me to play the piano at church. She didn't want me to do anything musically in the streets, in the secular world, whatever you want to put it, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the older I got, the more I started seeing stuff outside of, you know what I'm saying? And I just started applying it to, you know, I mean, I'm telling you, like, I didn't have nobody teaching me nothing, like to be with no women, nothing. Like, kind of everything I learned, it was trial and error.
So, okay, so let me ask you this. What was your first DJ name when you finally decided, I'm a DJ?
My sister used to mess with me all the time. Well, it was DJ Tony Neal, The Mix.
Okay.
The long-ass name. It got shorter every year. Trust me. But it was that, and my sister used to always fuck with me about that name. She fucked with me so bad about it, and I dropped the Mix, you know.
So the first DJ name was DJ Tony Neal, The Mix.
Yeah, but I did when I was younger. For me, keeping my name, I wanted to keep my name because I wanted to do every party. I wanted to be able to play old school. I wanted to be able to play hip hop. I wanted to be playing R&B. I always was like that. Right. I wanted to fit anything that if I felt like I had a nickname, they would classify me as that kind of DJ.
Got you. Yes.
So that's why I kept my name.
Right. Okay. So what was your first big breakout in Milwaukee? What was that first time when you were like, I'm DJ Tony Neal, I'm starting to get known, my first gigs? How did that happen?
Oh, nigga, my first, believe it or not, I would go against the odds. I was DJing at, I want to say a gay club was the first time everybody started knowing me.
Okay. And how old were you?
I'm 20.
20. Okay, gotcha. So you're not even of age yet, and this is
No.
Okay,
19,
gotcha.
20 years old. I was still had one foot in the street, one foot out, dog. So I was still I was 19, 20 years old. I got a gig because I like playing house music. And at the time, when you straight in the city, they didn't like house music. You know, I was Chicago bred. You know, I would go back and forth to Cliff Livingston's and kind of open up for people, but nobody know me. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
When
right.
I was young, Cotton Club and shit like that. But they play house, and I'm not talking about the hoes in this house shit like that, Baltimore house. I'm talking about straight disco,
Right.
as you know, Stevie Wonder, and shit like that. And, you know, I want to thank you, you know, Alicia Myers kind of shit. And with my city becoming hip hop influenced, nobody was playing that shit but the gay crowd.
Got you. Okay.
And so I practiced with those stolen turntables so deep. And one time I was DJing and my uncle figured it out. I started getting this place called the Birdcage. I ain't gonna never forget it, Rip. And my uncle figured out that his extras, I stopped coming around because I wasn't doing my grandfather's club. And my uncle knew I didn't have no equipment, but he started hearing I'm DJing at this little spot here, I'm DJing this little spot. Right. How the fuck this nigga did? He go upstairs and one of the speakers was missing, and an amp. At the time, we needed amps and shit, and two of his 18s was missing. He had them just sitting upstairs, and I went and scrounged up and moved around and started putting parts together and buying needles and shit like that. I started DJing little stuff around myself.
Right.
Get a little $50 here, and one time at the Birdcage, him and my older uncles walked in, got to unplug the shit.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Give me my shit. You know, I was like, I begged him. I don't want to embarrass me, but I begged him to let me just finish the gig.
Right.
So by that time, I had ran across a legendary cat club owner and cat entrepreneur in the city named Sonny. Sonny didn't give a fuck what kind of club he opened. He was making money. He didn't give a fuck. A straight club, gay club. He didn't give a fuck. Right.
Right.
As long as he was making money. And I would DJ little spots for him, but I was still kind of street, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so I was kind of, you know, you can't come bring them niggas down. You can't bring your family down here with that bullshit, Tony. You got to stay focused, you know. But I still would never talk on the mic, but I was a good mixer. I was a good DJ. I was always a good mixer, Rip, because of my studying the album cuts and looking at the people who produced it. Like, and I was so crazy with it. I knew who the dude from Heat Wave that produced Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was on that. So I knew his music sound the same if I play Brothers Johnson and if I play Michael Jackson and if I play some Heat Wave records and mix them together. I knew that it would sound right because of him.
Yeah. Same musician.
I was doing that kind of stuff. Like I knew Kevin from One Way, so I knew all his shit was going to sound. I based it on the producer. I didn't base it on the artist, Rip.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I knew that if I had played Teddy later on, anything Teddy Riley did, boom, I knew that I was gonna win, and then everybody else started mocking the beat, the New Jack Swing sound. So I knew I had this whole collection of random ass knockoff New Jack Swing producers, but I knew they was in the same vein, you know, like Mr. Soul and all that shit. And everybody started trying to do hip hop records, or what's the cast that made Mr. Soul, MC Light, you know what I'm saying? Like like that kind of stuff. Like I knew if I stayed in that vein, Club Nouveau, I knew that I was gonna be right on time. So I didn't really base my shit, even if the artist like a Jeff Red or something, like even if the artist wasn't known, if it was New Jack Swing, I'm playing it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
Don't Take My Mind on a Trip, some more random shit by Boy George. New Jack Swing remix came out, I'm playing it. So I was always that DJ. If it was produced by, I would put them in the same category. And if they sound alike, I would put them in I knew Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis sound, SOS Band, Janet, da-da-da. It kind of was the same as the Minneapolis sound, but it was different when they moved to Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling you, like, I was on that kind of shit. Like, I was reading, so this dude got this dude, and what's the Black Godfather dude? Like, I knew about him when I was young.
Right, absolutely, and that's a great way to approach the music, because that's a real DJ.
Hey, Rip, I wanted to be like him.
Got you. Yeah.
Like I wanted to be like the plug. Like I wanted to be the dude that people could come to, and I know a guy kind of nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I know a guy that know a guy that knows a guy. You know what I'm saying? That I wanted to be that. besides a DJ. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't that knowledgeable about the business part, but I knew what I wanted to do and what kind of person I wanted to be a long time ago. I wanted to be somebody of influence. I wanted to be I wanted to influence. And, you know, like, again, like my whole life was trial and error. Like, it was just, I might have burned some relationships or I gained some relationships, but at the end of the day, that's all I knew how to do coming up.
Right. So let's go here. So how did you maneuver in the 90s? What did the 90s look like to build up Tony Neal in Milwaukee? How did you start getting your name going? That.
Go ahead. So it's a club called Uptown on Fond du Lac. That was my first spot. Okay, I met Homer at the club. He would see me, and I would always get into a fight with some niggas. If anybody would fuck with anybody with me, or fuck with him, or fuck, I was just wild. It was just, I fall off. I would hit. I wasn't shooting at niggas per se and all that, but I would fight quick. You know, it was like so fast to the point one time, well, I don't want to go into this long story, but I got into it with some dudes that got into it with Homer.
Okay.
And I didn't have a home base yet. And Homer, but I felt like Homer was my guy, you know.
Right.
And it wasn't even that serious. Like, the dudes wasn't really trying to fight Homer, but I felt it was being disrespectful. And I knocked their asses out outside in the snow, both of them. So we get out to the car, and Homer just looking at me. I'm in there eating with a McDonald's or something. I'm not saying shit. I was never the type that bragged about a fight. I would fight and it's over, you know?
Right.
Just move on. He looked at me and said, "Dog, you got to calm the fuck down, man." And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? He said, "Yo, you can't do that, Tony. You too talented." He said, "You need your own spot." And so I said, okay, cool. So we ride around the next week, found a club called Uptown, like in the middle of the city in Milwaukee. But nobody there, you know. And like, I remember I told you I always wanted to be the plug. I always wanted to be the answer. I wanted to always have this Piper-ish kind of thing going on. So I get to the club. He put me in there. I wouldn't say nothing for the first week or so. They would complain. Found out later on that one of the owners, there's 3 owners, one of them was like my godfather. Like it was kind of like my godbrother's father. You know what I'm saying? Crazy shit. So nevertheless, it was like everything that I did was always aligned in some way to what you hear, what you see now for me, the next levels. So he in there, and he said, "Man, he ain't talking, Homer." You know, Homer was pretty known at the time, you know. And so Homer said, "Man, if they say you're not talking, why you ain't talking on the mic?" I said, "Oh, shit, I'm DJing. I'm jamming. Fuck that talking shit. You know, I'm just always on edge. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
All that time. You know, so crazy. He was like, "Man, just be you. Just like you talking to me, just talk on the mic." And that's how I started talking. And so, but what happened, it took me to get $50 one time $40 to finish DJing. I'm in this motherfucker to 9 o'clock, from 9 to 2, and I get $40 one time. That's all it took from them. Club, pack. Someone adding up to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So he had a sign that they never used outside, and it was on Fond du Lac is one of the busiest streets in the city. So I would put my name on it, on the sign, get the letters. They was broke up. I had to find pieces to make the J, all kind of stupid shit, real. But I would put my name on the sign, and every day I would get to work early and put my name on the sign, or after I got through DJing, I put my name on the sign outside, and people driving up and down the street would see Tony Neal, DJ Tony Neal here tonight, DJ Tony Neal Wednesday, Friday, Tony Neal, da-da-da. Nobody used that sign.
Got you. Okay.
So at that point, I said, you know what? Nobody's going to promote me like me. Like, nobody knows how to promote me better than me. So from then, from 91 on to 90 on up, I was just always on my own shit.
Got you.
And so that's what did it. That's that main street. But then the big thing though was a big high-tech state club called Roxbury that opened up, and I was the DJ on Sunday nights. That's what really launched the Tony Neal brand. Like Uptown did, but that Roxbury, 1,500 people every Sunday, and people in line at 7 o'clock in the fucking afternoon, and crazy shit like that. And then me DJing at the skating rink at Magic City, which was one of the biggest, things that was popping at the time. Magic City, when that was in Waukegan, Illinois. You know what I'm saying?
Got you. Okay.
So me going back and forth from Waukegan, North Chicago, and to Milwaukee, and but this is right when the whole Miami situation started. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then still fucking around trying to get in. I'm still thinking that shit. The interns, East is the spot. I need to be downtown. You know what I'm saying? I need to get downtown. Damn, still with the old crate carrying when nigga come on open for me, da-da-da. Right? So
right.
I was like, I come. You know what I'm saying? At the time, I'm got weed and shit wrapped around my fucking legs and all so goofy shit. You know what I'm saying? Right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Roxbury, the skating rink around there, but then later on the Green Bay Roadhouse, but that was another spot in Kenosha. But all the bouncing around, I knew that I had to get out of town too. And we didn't have social media, so it was what you heard.
Right.
Tony Neal, I heard he had 4,000 people. That's bullshit, you know what I'm saying? But Tony Neal, I heard he had 4,000. They started becoming urban legend, you know what I'm saying? That kind of shit, you know what I'm saying?
So hold on, let me get this straight. So because now I've known you for a long time, but me and your relationship started with the core, okay? As you know. So now it's all starting to piece together how you would hype things up and how you would promote and how you would position things in the core, how it was always perception is reality.
I remember I used to tell you all that time. We got how many people for registered? I said 1,000.
Right.
You know that.
Great, right. Good promotion.
It was perception. Everything was perception, man.
Okay.
Everything was perception for me.
So we're in the 90s, and we're going through the 90s. You're at Club Roxbury. You said Uptown, Magic the Skating Rink, North Chicago. So you're all over.
Early 90s.
Right, okay.
Here I am. I finally get to the intern. Luke was supposed to be performing, but the promoter didn't promote the party well enough. So it was kind of empty, right? So fresh kid, Luke, this was 92-ish. This is around right before 93 when he got into the whole thing with the lawyers and he separated the name. They sued him for the Luke Skywalker shit, all that shit.
Right.
Mind you, Luke was popping in 88, 89. You know what I'm saying?
Right, absolutely.
So he got into it with the fucking lawyer. But this is before he got into it with the lawyer. He was in there in the club. Darren was over there talking to him. I go up and I got all these Luke records sitting up behind me, on my crates, opened up and just sitting up. I'm playing, I'm mixing. Luke walks over to the window of the DJ booth and said, "Man, you need to be in Miami the way you DJ, nigga, you jamming." I shook my hand and walked off.
Got you.
Hey, Rip.
So you said
you can't tell somebody 19, 20 years old that shit, right?
Right.
So I looked behind me, and the first thing I looked was the nastiest you want to be with these niggas up looking up between these lady legs.
Yep.
I said, I'm out. I'm out. I mean, that's it. I'm out.
Wow.
On the Greyhound bus station was across the street from the club that I wanted to do, the interns. I mean, I'm at these other spots, but I wanted to be there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That was the premier urban black, downtown nightclub at the time with Interns East.
Got you.
And I wanted to be at the intern. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool. I'm out here, out north of Roxbury and all that, but I want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? I'm start getting this motherfucker. I can start telling people, even though I'm open, I can start telling people I'm DJing. Perception.
Right.
No, so Tony at Roxbury, Tony at Uptown, Tony at Esquire, Tony at motherfucker, blah, blah, blah. That shit. It's perception.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Rip, I always bounce back and forth to Miami. I get to Miami, I don't know nothing. I got to Miami, but I didn't know the difference between South Beach, West Palm, Pembroke, nothing. Opelika, Carroll, I didn't know none of that shit. Liberty City, I didn't know none of that. The Beans, nothing. I just knew I was in Miami. As soon as I hit that heat, nigga, I could have been in Orlando and I thought I was in Miami. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Shit, right? So I get down, I go there, I waited, I camped the fuck out at the Greyhound station. Same clothes now. I go find Luke's album and find his office. Because remember, Luke was independent.
Of course, yeah.
So his motherfucking address was on the album cover. You know what I'm saying?
Right, wow. Okay.
I walk in the office, go up the stairs, little office he had right on the left of the couch. So I walk in, Nikki at the desk. Nikki to this day working with Luke. Now I said, "Hey, is Luke here?" Teach just got out of jail. Teach is sitting in there with big head wrap on, right?
Wow, okay.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy. And Luke, he come out the back. He heard me. He came out the back. He looked. He said, "You that nigga from Milwaukee? You down here? What you doing down here?" Right?
Right.
And I said, "You said I should be down here?" From that, I started doing intern work with him. Then the lawsuit shit came. And me and him kind of fell out a little bit because I stayed with Joe. Yeah, I stayed with Joe instead of going with Luke. So Joe had took all his publishing. And he had the other two niggas, the two live crew, and I started doing promo with them. And that's when I came back to Milwaukee, started doing a DJing at the club. Because, I didn't know nobody down there. So if I wasn't something dope,
right,
I was up in the motherfucker trying get money, I would go back to Milwaukee and to my club spots.
Got you.
I felt like the more I was missing, the more they wanted me. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Absolutely.
So my missing was going to Miami.
Wow. I didn't know nothing about that. That's incredible.
Yeah, my missing in action was going to Miami. Fucking hang out there, get a little raggedy ass house in Liberty City. You know.
Wow.
And yeah, that was my missing. Selling a little weed, this, missing chicks, fuck with chicks on some gigolo shit. You know, I was wild. I was
Right.
chicken, live with her, food stamp, the whole nine, the whole shit, just to survive. But then go back home, save up enough money, and take my ass back on the Greyhound for the 2.5, 3 days back to Milwaukee, and be there.
So what happened next? So let's talk about it.
Oh, so let me give you. So this is what happened.
Go ahead.
So I'm at home around 94. And one of the DJs didn't show up for the V100 brand new radio station Christmas party, which is now Doc B. I know he's been haunting his ass forever, but I fuck with him about it all the time. He didn't show up to the Christmas party, and they needed a DJ, and they told me to go. I went, and I DJed. And Tony Fields, at the time, program director at V100, brand new station, said, I need you at the station tomorrow. Now, I dibbled and dabbled at the old building down here with Mr. Russian and all them back in the day here at Hot 105 at the time. Then it was 99 Jams, but it was kind of mingled with James T and all that. I was fucking around down here, but I wasn't really in until Big Show Power Summit when I came back. And Cedric was a DJ, but that's going further into it. But so back then, so I DJ'd the party, got to the station. I was the first mix show DJ at the new station V100, which is now the main station in Milwaukee.
Got you. And this was 94, you said?
Yep.
Wow. Okay. So
Rip, I was on that bitch mixing every fucking 12 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I was the mixer. I was the DJ.
Got you. So now you're on radio, which you weren't before, right?
Nope.
So before you went to Miami in the 90s, you basically did everything you could do as a DJ in the clubs in Milwaukee. Now you come back from from Miami.
Mind you, bouncing back and forth to Chicago too in the house scene and shit. You know,
so
that's how I met Ferris when we was younger. You know, Ferris older than me, so that's how I met Ferris when we was younger. You know what I'm saying? Got you. Shit like that.
So now you're on the radio in Milwaukee. So talk to me about this next step. What was the next thing that happened to get Tony Neal from a local Milwaukee DJ to a national name?
Jack the Rapper, man. Jack the fucking Rapper, real.
Got you. Okay.
I heard about Jack the Rapper on BET, Big Les talking about Jack the Rapper. Feel me?
Right.
And first I wanted to meet her.
Of course. Who didn't? Of course. Right. Yes.
Second thing, I mean, that was my real influence. I wanted to, Big Les. I wanted to see goddamn Big Les. Shit. And then, but Jack the Rapper was the event that she was hosting and shit. And I wanted to go be around. I was like, well, shit, like all these people going down there. So me, Doc B, and Mike Love at the time, his name is Fresh G in Milwaukee, Mike Love from Chicago. We drove from Milwaukee to Atlanta. And once I got in the hotel and when I saw Busta Rhymes and I saw Q-Tip, all these young niggas getting ready to come out, then I seen Melly Mel, and they was all in the hallway. You feel me?
Right.
Snoop was getting ready to come out. Like, Snoop was the biggest shit. You know what I'm saying? The biggest buzz around the industry was Snoop Doggy Style album getting ready to drop. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That shit, like, the biggest shit. I met Cube. That nigga, I was blown away. I was like, shit, so I can be around these kind of niggas too? And they acting regular. I'm regular. Like, damn, I was like, all right. Then my industry eyes start opening.
Right.
So I started applying my same hustle of perception to the industry. How the fuck am I going to get these motherfuckers to pay attention to me? So Mike and G stopped coming to conferences, but I didn't. I started going to Impact in Nashville.
Okay.
It was closer to me. I could drive.
Right, absolutely.
So my perception, being from the family I'm from and my father, I'm going to use some of my pop's tactics. So for me to get these motherfuckers to pay attention to me, I'm going to have to do something outrageous. So I pack up about 7 or 8 girls, the strippers that I knew in the city, and I drive them down to the damn conference.
Yes.
Get a suite and start having lockdowns.
Got you.
And when I tell you, that's how I met every nigga I ain't saying no names, but
Of course.
some big names was in my suite. Fuck, and I'm passing out these Tony Neal, the mix cards. Now it was DJ Tony Neal, but in the parentheses was the mix, right?
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
And so I'm passing out all these cards while they're in there getting massages and whatever the fuck else. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I felt like if I got a nigga comfortable, then I could talk to him better than business.
Okay, got you.
And it worked. You know what I'm saying? So I did that. By the time 97 rolled around, Rip, is when I got ready to launch Another Level record pool. I started hearing record pools and, Eardrum over in D.C. and Foot in L.A., rest in peace, Foot, and Marvin down in motherfucking Atlanta. And all these niggas was having record pools where they was getting records delivered to them and they distribute them to the DJs. I said, well, shit, I could do that. Once I got my own house now in Milwaukee,
Right.
I could do that shit. So I moved. I had a trap spot on 24th and Kilbourne. Like, man, that was really the wild times right there. Oh man. And I stayed, believe it or not, I stayed directly around the corner from Jeffrey Dahmer.
Damn. Okay. Wow.
Directly around, like when the whole Jeffrey Dahmer shit hit, I was standing outside when they started bringing the barrels outside. I used to see this dude all the time.
Wow.
I used to see him all the time.
That is
like going
wild.
back and forth from Ambrosia, from the chocolate factory, going to work. And I'll be standing outside waiting for records that I had coming in the mail from labels and from the station for the station. And I'll be standing outside waiting for UPS. And I see him walk past, speak to me, I speak to him. What's up, dog? Yeah, how you doing, man? And boom, I would see him in the back barbecuing and shit on the second floor. You know what I'm saying? Then I started working security. Rip had a little security job, and we would secure that building. And it's not getting off the subject, but I would always smell this little orange smell in the lobby. Like, what the fuck? Then why had I always smelled it? It wasn't on the third floor, it wasn't on the first floor. It was always on that second floor, like a nigga was trying to cover up something. You feel me?
Yeah, absolutely. Wow.
And I didn't know exactly what floor I know he stayed in this building. I said, oh, that's the white boy I've been seeing. Cool. Bam. Hey, what's happening? I talked to him every time he walked past the crib, every afternoon, coming back from work. He would walk from Ambrosia, from downtown. And he hung out with a lot of crackheads and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, damn, this motherfucker always be outside back talking, drinking beers and shit. But then, nigga, I don't, But that was around the time that I was first at the station, going back to Chicago, jump on the thing, got a car, started driving back to Miami, driving to Chicago, driving to Milwaukee, but I stopped going to Chicago. It was boom. I never did Atlanta until later, till we started fucking with the core. For real. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But I would always do L.A. After I started hanging in Miami. I started going to L.A. That's when I met you and, all, niggas like me, basically.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Okay.
I was really comfortable because I started meeting, wait a minute, so we got these kind of niggas in the industry too? Oh, hell yeah. I'm how am I going to implement this street shit into this goddamn music shit?
Right.
So I'm really geeked now because I'm seeing niggas in my thought anyway, Haitian Jack and da. And I met a new, but not new, but a legendary nigga coming up by the name of Jay Prince. You feel me? Like, I'm hearing niggas like me.
Right, absolutely.
I said, oh, wait a minute now. So these niggas is in this shit? Oh, so for me, started a record pool, started servicing the DJ. I would get my money. Now I was getting $50, $75 every month from 50 DJs, right?
Right.
So now I got money to go to conferences, pay the chicks, bring them to the motherfucking Impact, buy a van. I was just manipulating the system. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I knew that niggas like chicks.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I ran into my pops again. Me and him had a conversation. I told him, nigga, I know you was young. I ain't going to hold you to that, but I need to know what my brothers and sisters is at. I mean, it was like, that's how I got back with my father, just saying that.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Up until he passed. Like that. I mean, it wasn't no thing. It was like, nigga, I understand. You were 17, you were in the streets, da-da-da. I said, but I can't talk to you or get to know you more because I ain't seen you since I was 9 until you tell me where my fucking brothers and sisters is at. Here's my number. I ran into the nigga in a Burger King downtown in Miami.
Wow. That's amazing.
Whole nother set of my brothers and sisters, like 3 sisters, another brother, like right there with him, and was a new wife and the whole shit. So my shit Rip was developed, around street shit.
Right.
My mother was a dancer, like around street shit, bro.
So
and she had a good job, and she got on drugs, and I mean, it was just me winging it out there on my own.
So now all of this stuff is coming full circle. This all making sense, because I used to always hear the stories. Tony used to be the one that would show up with all the girls. Real shit. So then
I was like, okay, that's how I'm gonna do it. So I'm gonna hand out this. If I run into this nigga, Rob, okay, I can say Rob because that's my boy, Rob Love. He Rob was like, nigga, you bringing the girls, dog.
Right.
Okay. Like I would, and then that kind of bled over to what now became Mixtape Power Summit, because Kevin Black would take my idea and started implementing it into the Power Summit.
Okay, so hold on. I don't want to go too far. Okay, so so now this is late 90s. You're starting the record pool. You're moving around the industry now. You're going to Jack the Rapper. You're going to Impact. You're going
further. I'm starting to make moves to further myself from doing anything in the street.
Right. Also, you're creating the core models and all of these things, and you don't even realize you're doing it yet. So that's amazing. So okay, now you bring up the Mixtape Power Summit, which I believe became the holy grail for conferences from a DJ's perspective. So now,
absolutely, man.
Okay,
listen, for Renee to even consider me, but I was the only damn Mixtape DJ in Milwaukee on the radio on the main station.
Right. So what I was going to ask you,
I wouldn't ask for nothing for niggas' records. I just play them. If I like it, you send it to me. Okay, I'm playing. You got a record pool? So I was getting a lot of my record pool records because of that aspect.
Got you. So what I was going to ask you was, I understand that you were a part of the Technicians, which was one of the first big national DJ coalitions, and then Mixtape Power Summit. So I was going to ask you, how did you get involved with that?
This is how that happened. Well, first of all, this is how that happened. On my ear for music, taking records out of awkward ass situations like DJ, like Too Much Booty in the Pants, the house version. I started playing. I was one of the focal points of breaking records, but I didn't really know it. I'm talking about in the country. And I could play what the fuck I wanted to play on the radio. So it's like I take the flip side and the booty version of Too Much Booty. That's how that came out.
Okay.
Young Dro, he was his first flight ever on a plane was to me. And he had this record called Yes Sir. And then he went to jail with Raheem. Me and Raheem got cool through my journeys going to Miami.
Got you.
And Raheem was rapping, and he had all them Kizzy Rock and all them niggas. I was getting all them records sent to me.
Right. And you were breaking them there in Milwaukee.
The Itchy Bond records. And I met Breed through Itchy Bond, and the dude that owned Itchy Bond used to call me every week.
Got you. Okay.
So I didn't rip. I'm still cool with Tony. I'm like, yeah, cool. I got you, man. Not asking for shit. Just, I get my record pool fees from my DJs. And I didn't know the game. I was like, fuck it, and I got you, fam,
Right.
Nothing. And so with that, I got the girls, I got the record pool. Fuck it, I don't care about that shit. You know what I'm saying? Send me the record, But I would always have this thing about playing, like I said, back in the day, the awkward record that nobody was fucking with. Like my boy Dago had a record pool called Dance Your Life Away. At the same time, I had another level record pool. And nigga, I was in his pool because he was getting shit that I wasn't finding either. You know what I'm saying? So I would get records from him, and I would find little shit that he had scattered on the floor. Like, what's this? And I play it, and it'd be some shit I like, and fuck it turned out to be the booty version of Too Much Booty in the Pants by Soundmaster T and shit like that. Or DJ Jimmy, because that was when Bounce first came out, but we called it booty music up here. We didn't call it Bounce.
Right.
So Sister Soldier, Sister, DJ Jimmy, where they at, Jubilee. Like we was playing them shits along with the Yin Yang Twins and Whistle While You Twerk came out, and Bounce records. We played them as booty shaking records. We didn't play them like they did in New Orleans with the Haxel called the seances. We just, if it was a certain beat per minute, it would go with the rest of the shit.
Right, absolutely.
Content, beat per minute, boom. I didn't give a fuck about what it classified until later. Like I found out, oh damn, it signifies something. Oh, this signifies this. Yeah. Oh, I could put this with Luke. Like I was like still putting shit with the loop, speeding this shit up to 8+, and I ain't give a fuck trying to catch up with, as long as the girls could dance off of it, you know what I'm saying? Then when I actually found out that 8+ was really something that they did down here in Miami, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying?
Got you.
So I was getting all these influences from different places I was going and bringing them back to Milwaukee. That's how I started getting that. So once the technicians was going, Scrap, they was trying to find people in different regions. Scrap called me and Rand called me on the phone, 2000, about being in a technician. And that's how I got in the tech. I stayed on the phone. We was on the phone for a fucking sun came up, us three, talking about records and old records. And you got this and you got this. Nigga, we playing records through the phone. How about this? We playing records through the phone and shit like that.
Right.
And old shit, old Daz Band, Southern Sunset by Daz Band. I'm on that shit.
Right.
I wasn't playing, I'm playing records like, I'm playing them shit. Like I'm over on some other shit. And so that's how I got into Texas, man. Then, but I would always tell Rand, I said, man, the way we're going to make ourselves powerful, man, we can't be beefing with niggas. We got to start doing shit on our own, have our own conferences, have our own wardrobe, have our own, because like I told you, I was always on that one-stop shop shit.
Right.
Only thing that we didn't have with the technicians was models. We had female DJs, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But this fool used everything. I think later on I got caught up in the Rand thoughts because he had everybody so fucked up industry-wise. They thought anybody that got any kind of power was going to act like him.
Right.
And it wasn't like that with me, especially with me, because I would go, as you know, to the BNC markets. I started to co with BNC market DJs. I didn't start with A DJ.
Right, absolutely.
I wanted us niggas like us, Impact, you, me, DM, like cats that that was powerful, that was responsible for breaking shit, but that didn't get the credit for it. I wanted them.
Right.
Because once the record got broken, the Savannahs and the Macons and the Chattanoogas, the Nashvilles, the Detroits, the LAs, of the world, the Chicagos would take the credit. Those DJs would get the credit for playing it first. And we playing this shit 2-3 months earlier.
Right. It always happened like that.
Yeah, always. You know that, Rip. Being from Omaha, it always happened like that with us. Milwaukee, I'm playing some shit, and all of a sudden, down in Chicago, Ferris might have played it, or goddamn, somebody on the radio down there might have. It's new exclusive. Nigga, I've been playing that shit since 3 months ago. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I wanted those DJs. So by the time it got so big, that was unstoppable. You couldn't stop it because the niggas were so loyal for having somebody take a chance on them, And but I don't want to get ahead of myself with that. But nevertheless, Rand wanted all this attention. He wanted to beef with Jay-Z. He wanted to beef with Dame Dash. But the niggas didn't want to do what he wanted to do. He got all the plaques. We ain't get shit. You know what I'm saying? Because he owned the tech. Well, not owned it because LP, Charles Dixon, and Scrap is the one who put him in position because of the radio. They felt like that, you had a small market syndrome sometimes.
Right.
And they felt like because Scrap is from Chicago, but he was rooted in Jackson, Mississippi. And then LP was like in a small city in the Bay. Charles Dixon was older. He was always a rep. He was still at Columbia. Right. The whole shit, but they wanted to put somebody with a face. And at the time, Rand was DJing at WWF.
Out of Philly, right?
Right. And they wanted to put him on the radio, and he's DJing wrestling and all that. So they wanted to put a face with it. But really, they didn't really know this nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
So, and once he got in there, then he started trying to beef with Flex. Anybody that was in power that he wanted to be like, he started trying to beef with Cosmic Kev, like the list goes on, and niggas. And if he was unsatisfactory, he'd get a bunch of DJs together, and he want to ban the records. And I wasn't on that. I was like, man, let's just have our own shit.
Right.
So that's when the technician conference started in Vegas and all that, because I was like, let's have our own shit. I didn't care about getting the glory for it. Let's do it, But what really jarred me is two things that made me, what we're about to get into with the core.
Right.
Two things that jarred me into
Yeah, go ahead.
Leaving the technicians.
Correct.
A couple of things. One real incident. I want to put it publicly. That he just said some shit to me, and me and her don't talk now to this day. But if she heard it, if she hears it, I want her to understand that it wasn't me, and which was he made me fall out with my fellow comrade in Virgo, Coco Chanel. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And that was my girl. That was my girl. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I was disappointed that she would listen to this goofy nigga about anything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I didn't stretch it. I didn't do too much with it. You know what I'm saying? I was like, all right, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But next thing, he wanted to get paid. He wanted us to not go to the Power Summit. But then I found out the nigga wanted to get paid to go DJ at Def Jam party for 10 grand himself.
Got you. Okay.
So he wanted us to band together and not go. And I was never on that. I was going. Fuck what you talking about, nigga. But then I found out the ins and outs of it.
Right.
Like, damn, this nigga is something else. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
In between that one and another one, there was a situation with Jackie O. They gave this nigga a crazy ass amount of money to fly all the technicians down here to Miami for Jackie O's release party, Sobe. And the nigga didn't fly nobody in.
Wow. Okay. So needless to
that
say,
right there led to the next Power Summit in 2004, where we was deep technicians, but nobody was representing.
Right.
Mars, Irie, TJ. Niggas was just kind of walking around bland. Clinton Sparks, Wally Sparks. Like niggas was just kind of there. You know what I'm saying? We was deep as fuck. Heavy hitters was there. Of course, they always rep.
Right.
You know, the threat thing and the whole thing. They was always tight-knitted because of, circumstances like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was Latin, and so I would fuck with enough about that all the time. Oh, nigga, you got us in the back of the bus today? Nigga, I would say stupid shit like that.
Right, right.
But what the breakout was, at that conference, we had a meeting in the lobby, and I was like, yo, nigga, why y'all not saying nothing? Like, why y'all? And it started zeroing on me. The meeting that I was talking to Wally and Clinton in the hallway started with 2 people ripping. It ended up being 40.
Wow. Okay. In the lobby. Here comes the
lobby. One of us took somebody. I don't know who got that picture, but one of us took a picture of all of us with our finger up saying "fuck Rand." I don't know who got that picture.
Wow.
I never saw it no more.
Okay.
But it was deep because Al Lindstrom walked up and he was the one that broke up the whole meeting. Y'all got to come on, Tone. Y'all got to keep moving. Take them somewhere else. And I'm like, me? Like, I'm just talking and I'm just discussing shit. I'm not like the leader of the technicians. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But from what they saw, Kevin Black was standing there, right?
Yeah.
So we go to the panel. Kanye, Clint Sparks, Enough, Mars, Sean Peckhouse was the host. Man, about 300 some DJs in this, like deep. Everybody that was anybody was in that panel.
Right.
Kanye was in there telling them, play my records, man, da-da-da, please. I'm a real motherfucking artist, da-da-da. Kanye was he's always Kanye. He's been the same all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like before his mother passed, he was the same dude. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Any nigga that can get up off an accident, wire, go in the studio and make a record. He was the same dude.
Right, absolutely.
So, but he was just cold. It was just cold. You know what I'm saying? Just cold motherfucker.
Absolutely.
So, when you got motherfucker, and I don't go too far into that, but I will say this: when you got people that got a stability issue, like a R. Kelly or a Kanye, but they're talented, people kind of don't want to rock the boat by getting them help.
Right. Absolutely. They don't want the music to stop. They don't want all the stuff that's bringing in the money.
Right. I'm just going to leave that there.
Right.
You feel me?
Absolutely.
I've seen people who are on SERP and all this shit, and they let the shit ride out until they couldn't do it no more. And then once they got the help, what they thought that would happen, happened. Their music stopped being good. And you know what I'm saying?
Right.
All right.
Absolutely.
So I just leave that there. But that's how I look at niggas like R. Kelly and Kanye West and da-da-da. And I got a list of niggas that was dope as crazy, long as they was high. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
you know
absolutely. So
DMX, I could go through the whole list of people, and they didn't fuck with them because they didn't want to rock the boat. They just watched them.
Right. So, okay, now, Mix Show
Power Summit.
Yes, sir.
They on the panel. DJ Chill stands up, asking all these questions. I want to talk to Enough. He said, man, how can I, the previous one, I had won Midwest DJ of the Year, 2002.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Here, year skip, I come back, I'm DJing. This is the famous, I know you heard about this with the famous 6-hour 80s set with all wax. That shit. That was when I DJed that shit in the lobby. Right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That shit, that's the infamous moment of Mix Show Power Summer for Tony Neal. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
When Queen Latifah's movie first came out, we couldn't get niggas to go to they didn't want me to stop DJing. They had literally stopped me from DJing because I had my wax with me and I brought it to Puerto Rico and to Dominican Republic, all that shit.
Right,
so
right.
Nevertheless, killed that shit like crazy. And that's how I got back to 99 Jam. Cedric, man, you coming back to Miami soon? I said, yeah. He said, come to the station ASAP. Kind of the same thing happened when I first got my job at B100. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
DJ Chill stands up and said, how can he be a heavy hitter? He said, man, I do this in Houston. I do this. I do that. Enough told him, well, I mean, if you do all that, fam, you ain't got to tell us. We'll find you in Houston, right? Me being me, I said, nigga, you a goddamn lie. You know, everybody bust out laughing. I said, nigga, I want Mix Show Power. I'm the Mix Show DJ of the Midwest, not just Milwaukee. All of the I'm rambling off all my shit. I said, I ain't heard from you. And mind you, I'm a technician saying that.
Right, right.
So Renee, I mean, Enough put his head down and just started laughing. That's my boy. We laughing at the shit, right? So Peckhouse say, here you go. He said, okay, Tony, since you're saying this, because it's like everybody was on the ready to blow the fuck up. It was like everybody, the whole industry was tired of Renee. I mean, not Renee, sorry. Tired of Rand.
Rand, right.
Right. So Renee standing there, Peckhouse standing there, panel. He say, Tony, how do you feel about the DJ crew situations now? For me, I just say, you know what, man? I like the family aspect because there's people that's really in this shit that really ain't got no tight family. And so they find an outlet through music. And when they find others that's like them, find an outlet of music, you know, I said, but you know what? I looked around. I'm looking at Mars. I'm looking at Irie. You know, I said, you know what, man? As far as the nigga that run this shit, fuck that nigga. Out the blue, room blew off the roof. The roof blew off. DJs jumping up, going crazy. You know.
Right.
Cosmic Kev, I told you, motherfucker. Cosmic Kev going nuts, running through the whole damn room.
Right.
I told y'all motherfuckers that nigga wasn't shit. And then I said, as a matter of fact, I quit.
Just like that.
Yeah, I said, I ain't no time doing that technician shit no more. I quit. That was it. Rip, that was it.
So in comes the core DJ's idea.
Walking through the lobby,
through
the lobby after the whole hoopla, Kevin Black got his hands resting on his stomach, leaning against one of the banisters and shit.
Classic Kevin Black.
Past. Yeah, he walked. He looking at me, and he looking. I said, what, nigga? You know. He said, what you gonna do now, nigga? I said, I'm taking my ass back to the radio station and go back to work. Go back and forth to Miami like I've been doing. That nigga ain't really gonna get me fired for telling fuck him. It was like, no, you can't do that. I said, he said, you need to do it yourself. I said, man, nobody gonna listen to me, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm still thinking like scrapping them. I'm from Milwaukee, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Ain't nobody gonna listen to me, man. I ain't tripping on that shit, you know what I'm saying? I sit down, I go to the room, got I lay across the bed. First thing I said was, God damn, what the fuck did I just do? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck?
Right.
Check, it's my shit. It's deep. I know how many influential niggas was in the technicians. I'm fucking up. You know what I'm saying? Right?
Yeah.
I done built up all this shit, dragging motherfucking strippers around the country to just be fucking up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
Tripping. But I was so into that whole just me saying, fuck it. I made it all this time myself. Fuck these niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was always my stilo. So, and mind you, remember I told you all my background, so that was always me. You know what I'm saying? Nobody helped me do a goddamn thing.
Right.
And I was always think that nobody would still help me. And if they did, they was trying to take advantage of it. I was just always on the other end of it. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
I lay down, dog, rip 15 minutes. I jump up. Core. I said, everything starts with the DJ, ends with the DJ. I said, if the earth blew up, the last thing you would see in the sky was the core. It started with the core, ends with the core. I said, the music game starts with some DJ playing the record, and it ends with that same nigga falling off trying to go back to that same DJ to play his record. The middle, the core, the DJ is the center of the music industry.
Right. Absolutely.
That's where the name came from. I jumped up out the bed, core DJ. I ran back downstairs. First nigga I ran into 2003. Down South DJ of the Year, DJ Finesse. Right?
Right.
I
Yes.
don't even know Finesse like that. We just cool. I said, hey, nigga, I think I might start this DJ crew. You gonna fuck with it? He said, what you gonna call that? I said, Core DJs. He said, hell yeah, I'm in. It was just like that. I'm in.
Wow. Okay.
That's how it happened. Now I know that I need this perception. Again, here my mind is going 90 miles an hour because his name that popped up in my head in the DR. And I had to build up to it. I remember one nigga that they would not, because this nigga was jealous, would not let in the core. This nigga wouldn't let him in the core. Why? Because he rapping? Because they on TV? He a DJ too.
Mm-hmm.
Big Tigger.
Oh, you
First
mean,
DJ.
you mean wouldn't let in the technicians, you mean?
Technician. Wouldn't let him in the technician. Yeah. And
Right.
I was, why not?
Well, Rand wouldn't.
Okay, Rand.
Well, what's crazy is I reached out to Rand too, and he wouldn't let me in the technicians.
Ain't that some shit?
Yeah, absolutely. So go on.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Wow.
Any motherfucker that he wouldn't let in, I found out I put him in the core.
Right. Okay. So this is. Go ahead. Go
so
ahead.
Big Tigger, how the core blew because of perception. Nigga, I had some niggas that was in, 1 foot in. I had some niggas that was 1 foot out. I had some niggas that was kinda with it, like Cosmic Kev and this shit. And I had some niggas that was, the core was really supposed to be a board of the best niggas, not a crew. It was supposed to be an idea. My idea was get Khaled, Big Dog, Pit Bulls with Flex and the heavy hitters and the Bum Squad and put them all together and start this core board of where we all meet to come up with shit to break records. The name was bigger than a DJ crew. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
And so I was like, I want to do that. Nobody was jumping on it.
Wow.
That's that first year. Nobody was jumping on it. So that's why 2004 wasn't the official year I started. 2005 was when I did the conference in motherfucking
Chicago.
Chicago.
Right? Okay.
Right.
All right. So hold on. Don't jump too far ahead. Okay. So in 2003, Technicians goes down the drain. 2003, 2004, you start the core. Now,
I thought of the core. I ain't started yet.
Right. So
my ideas and trying to get people in and doing the website and the whole splash screen. Remember that shit ripped the whole, you know.
So did the Bum Squad DJs and Scrap Dirty and all of them, they were all.
Nigga, I was a violator. Okay, let me go back. I was a violator first.
Got you. Okay.
After I left the Technicians.
Okay.
So I was in the violators with Scrap. I went over there.
Got you. Okay.
Because by that time they had fell out with Rand.
Wow. All right.
So I had quit, and then LP started the Bum Squad. So we didn't give a fuck about who was in what and what crew was this and that. They didn't care. That shit didn't start until I started the core.
Wow. Okay.
The only nigga that was really kind of picky and exclusive was Enough.
Got you.
Like, I didn't care about who was in what and who did what. I didn't care about that. You know what I'm saying? It was like we was all on the same ship. We could all help each other. And that shit only started, niggas started classifying shit only when I started the core. Niggas didn't do that shit before. You know what I'm saying? Like, niggas wasn't on that.
Right. So, okay, so 2005, you start the core DJs. And the core DJs ends up spawning Core Africa, Core Models, Core Legends, Core Latino, Core
Africa. We knew that Afro, what they call Afro beats. You know that what they call Afro beats now. We was on that shit in 2008.
Right. Okay. So and then Core Triple X DJs, Core
the Triple X DJs, all that.
Core Cares, and then the legendary Core DJs Retreat. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So
not to mention the Core Legends. Not to mention.
Right. Okay. So now, 2005, you decide to do your own DJ crew. You call it the Core DJs. Then you decide I'm gonna do my own conference. Right.
Like I was telling Rand in the first place. Right. So, but I wanted to include everybody. So before I did that in 2004, I said I called Renee and I said, Renee, I think I got an idea that I can help, keep us on balance with the whole conference and shit. I can, I got an idea about, let's not charge no DJ, not just the top 60 and all that shit. Let's not charge no DJs for no registration. If you want to do that, then let's fly the top 60s in, but don't charge them registration. Like, just let them fly themselves in.
Right.
No, we good. Don't tell you, we just gonna keep on doing it. I said, cool. I honored the nigga when I did my shit. I honored him. he was the first one got an award. You know, at the time I didn't know where to get the other ones. He had a bowling looking ass award. You know, bowling. You know, and I made one of those and I gave it to him. I didn't know nothing about Jewel Box and Metro Pro and all the plaque places at that time. You know what I'm saying?
Right, absolutely.
That shit didn't come along until 2 when St. Louis. And then I overdid it because I had TV frame looking ass.
Right. Okay, so hold on. Okay, so the Core DJs retreat happens in Chicago. Okay, so here's my introduction to this mix, right? So I'm in Omaha, Nebraska, and I'm in the sales department and DJing sporadically on the only urban hip-hop radio station in Omaha, Nebraska that I helped launch, Hot 107.7 and 97.3. So I reached out to the Source magazine. Okay, so let me back up. So for me, I've always been the same type of thinker. I'm always going to create something from nothing. I'm going to go find all of the things. So Busy got the opportunity to be a program director. He called me to run the station with him. I go over there as the sales manager. Then I say the station needs imaging. We need drops. We need this. Yeah. I find the imaging guy. I'm not the program director. That was Busy's job, but I did all of that, right? So I said, okay, we need drops.
Because we don't care. We didn't do that. We just wanted to work.
So check it out. So what I did was I said, we don't got a lot of clients yet, but we need vignettes and we need sweepers and these things. So I was looking through the Source magazine and it literally showed if radio stations across the country would carry the hip hop minute, they would send vignettes from artists and drops. So I called the Source magazine and we started running these things every week. It was just industry news. So the next thing I know, I get a phone call from Phil Gates. Big Phil calls me and says, hey, yo, Rip, Benzino wants to talk to you. He puts Benzino on the phone. Benzino starts talking to me about his new record. So I'm like, okay, send me the record. So I play the record on the radio. Next thing I know, I'm in Miami at the Source Awards. I take the whole radio station with me. It's all 9 staff members, DJs and myself. We go to the Source Awards in Miami. I meet Kool Herc, on and on and on and on and on. We come back. The next phone call I get is from Phil, and he says to me, yo, Rip, are you a part of a DJ crew? I was like, nah, I tried to get into technicians, and your boy fronted on me, right? He goes, I want to introduce you to Tony Neal. He calls you. He puts you and me on the phone. He tells you that I should join the Core.
Right.
Okay. So then me and you start talking. You were working at a club or you had a club in Milwaukee, and I help you book SOS Band.
Yep.
So then you invite me to Miami. Wasn't that number 2? Because St. Louis was number 3, right?
St. Louis was 2.
Okay.
St. Louis was 2. Miami was 3.
Okay, so
Miami was where that's where you came, and we had the Ciroc and the whole shit.
Right. So I ended up going to Miami, and that's when I saw everything. Pretty Ricky. I saw all of this going on, and then I remember what was 4? Was 4 Dallas?
4 was Houston. Houston.
Boom. Okay, so I ended up talking to you, Elora, and I can't really remember, but all I know is that
Elora came after when Miami came.
Right. I just remember the next thing I know, I'm helping organize Houston, number 4.
Right. Yep. That's right.
So it's just kind of crazy how I end up in the Core and then I end up helping immediately when I got in the organization. And
immediately. It was instant. Like, because when me and you started talking, we always was thinking the same way. Then come to find out, me, you, fucking Annie Laura Virgo.
Right. So that whole thing was just wild. Okay, so now here we are. Core DJs Retreat, number 4. Now I'm involved. And now here we go. Now, again, this ain't about me. This is about you. But
no, go ahead.
Yeah, so now let's just talk about the whole Core DJ Retreat because, see, the Core DJs Retreat replaced the Mix Show Power Summit? Because
I mean, I don't want to say it replaced. I think the labels replaced it. I didn't want to replace it. Because that's why. So Rip, that's why I started using the word retreat.
Right.
I started using the word retreat because I knew that we never was on time for shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I knew that niggas was want to party. I knew that. So what I called myself was making more relaxed than calling it a blown out conference. So that's where the name retreat came from.
Right, absolutely.
And of course, everybody else started using the damn name. But
right.
That's where the name retreat. I said, let's call it a retreat because it's more relaxed. We're just gonna be chilling and networking and shit. I think we was all indie. So I think once the label started becoming a factor, I think that it became more of a conference. Versus what we were trying to do in the first place. You know what I'm saying? The award show.
Right.
Chill. We were just really, because you think about the first, like St. Louis and Miami really didn't have no structure.
Right.
Partying, we had parties. We was at the fucking hotel on the corner on Collins, 10th and Collins.
Yep.
You know, Ricky came up on the porch. Like, we didn't really have no schedule or none of that shit. We just knew that we was giving awards away. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We knew that, we wanted the DJ to come. We was gonna have parties at the club. We was gonna have some panels. We didn't really have a structure.
Absolutely. What I was saying is that when I mean it replaced the Mix Show Power Summit, because I remember going to the last two Mix Show Power Summits, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, the Mix Show Power Summits were exclusive. It was only the top 50, 60 DJs in the country. It was in Dominican Republic, Jamaica, or Puerto Rico, or whatever. It wasn't really in America, right? So it was like at some point, and I know
it actually started at the Eden Rock, and it just grew.
Right.
And then they took it. I remember sneaking in the motherfucker.
Yeah.
So they actually took it to DR. When I started, by the time it started going to DR, I was already starting to get recognized for what I was doing on the radio in Milwaukee. So I was one of those DJs that got picked to get everything paid for and the whole shit. And but me on the other side, I'm looking like, damn, this niggas that I know do just as much as me. That's in Jackson. That's in fucking this young nigga Bebe in fucking Shreveport. He might not be a DJ, but this nigga moved the crowd. They moved with him. I remember saying that to myself, like, there ain't nobody fucking with Dallas, because I was going to Dallas in 2002, 2003, and I was like, damn, Dallas gonna be the spot. Like, I was calling this shit out. Rip, I was calling this shit out.
Absolutely.
You know this. I was calling.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
I said, let's go to Dallas. Niggas was like, what? Dallas? You don't want to go back to Houston? I said, nah, let's go to Dallas with the conference. That was number 7. Yeah, I was calling out the next moves because I was in the trenches. I wasn't trying to be there.
Right.
So I saw shit shaping as it was shaping,
Yeah, well, see, that's what I was saying about that. It was just a difference, It was a little bit more upper echelon and exclusive with the Mix Show Power Summit. But when that went away, it was like the industry just shifted to the core retreat, and it kind of just replaced it, one after the other. But the beautiful thing about the core retreat was that all the DJs could participate, not just the top 25 markets, and all the indies could participate, not just the big budget ones. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or the major labels. Everyone could participate. So so it was incredible. And that's, to me, why the retreat, especially, before I got involved in and after I got involved, that to me, that's what made it so strong, and why it lasted so long. And you still are doing it because everybody can get involved and it helps everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I didn't want to create followers. I wanted to create bosses. Like, I wasn't never the type of dude that wanted a flock of followers. I wanted people to have their own shit. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that for me. I wanted people to be creators of their own shit.
Right.
And,
absolutely.
Like sometimes like what you Rip, you were so entrenched with the core that you didn't take the time out to make your own shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
So, you and Impact, y'all was so in the core. And like I said, bumping my head and trying this and trying that. I didn't, I still really didn't have a grip. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I had to get a grip on my own fucking life. You know what I'm saying? Before I could, understand, like, wait a minute, I ain't have to do that. well, I could have did this different. You know what I'm saying? I could have moved different on this.
Yeah. Well,
You know?
I mean,
so you know, but nevertheless, so that's where the name Retreat came from.
right.
So I wanted to make it more comfortable for niggas. You know what I'm saying? If we started late, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? It's a retreat. You know what I'm saying? Fuck it.
Right,
you know?
absolutely.
Oh, well, if we missed this panel, fuck it. Let's put it on a different time. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
such and such just got to his flight got here late. Fuck it. Let's put him on the panel for tomorrow. Like we didn't care. It wasn't like it wasn't supposed to be the whole organized conference thing. You know?
Yeah, but what ended up happening really was it turned into the go-to mainstream record-breaking industry event. I mean, it ran the whole music industry for at least 10 years, right? And I mean, every artist, every brand, every, tastemaker, every label, everyone was involved and wanted to be involved.
Every blog site, every email blast company that you see now, came through that motherfucker.
Absolutely. I remember the first time I ever met CL when he launched DigiWax.
Yeah, Orlando.
Yes. You know what I mean? And
I can tell you the stories. Yeah,
right.
Orlando.
And their pool parties and the models and just everything.
Because what we wanted to do was strengthen the brand that they was putting, so we gave them the pool party. Remember, it was like
absolutely.
That. Like I said, we wanted to create people so everybody would put, and it's a shame, man. When you get your shit big enough, then we all have something and we all bring it back to the table. But, sometimes people just didn't, after they got this shit popping, it just didn't happen like that. And that goes from Beats, that goes by Ciroc, that goes from Monster, that goes by the tequila that we had there forever. I could just name the fucking brands that came through that thing that started with us.
Absolutely.
And once they turned into these mega situations, they kind of just disappeared from us.
Right. I mean, it was always the platform to launch everything. You know what I mean? And but again, the money came fast, the power came fast, the impact, everything just shifted, right? And I remember Akon from 50. I mean, Diddy, everybody came to the core retreat and did an event, all the legends and all of the new artists. And it was just amazing. And that legacy will keep going once, once COVID, gets us back in some kind of normal space.
I got so many now that my mind, and like I said, I'm gonna tell you something that I did. So include with you in Impact, y'all the first one I called, and I told everybody the same thing. Anybody that I thought that I might have rubbed the wrong way, even Sean Perez,
right.
Even Sean, I called everybody that I thought that I might have had a. Because, and it's sad to say, but not after my divorce, my mind was like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it was like, damn, what the fuck? I would have called me a fuck nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay.
I was like, damn, one day I was just sitting here ripping, I was just like, damn, I was tripping. And I was going back thinking about the ways I could have said this and the way I could have went about this, but I didn't see it. I didn't have my vision that I had early. Like my instinct was gone.
Right.
Like my instinct that I had so many years growing up and everything was gone. It was like my creative instinct was gone, man. It was like, now I'm just winging it. But at first, Rip, I would call the shit out before it happened.
Absolutely. Tony, check this out.
Hello world, I want to welcome you to Vinyl Esquire, the podcast that delivers culture, truth, music.
This is a core DJ